This week on Emily Celtics Weekly, the men in green buck the Magic and the Jazz, but they can't handle the heat of Miami. Christmas time is here, and the Celtics do their part to help the less fortunate. And the youth of Boston enlist to become future Celtics. All this and more next on Emily Celtics Weekly.
Emily Celtics Weekly, brought to you by Emily Motor Oil. Better than it has to be. And now, here's your host, Mike Gorman.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Emily Celtics Weekly. Overall, you could say the Celtics have been playing pretty well so far this season. Their one weak point, though, has been winning back-to-back games. Last week, the Celtics had 4 games, the first 2 coming on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the second pair taking place on Friday and Saturday. In that first set, the Celtics did emerge victorious. Rick Fox got the Celtics off on the right foot with the quick hands. The steal off to Kevin Gamble for the dunk, and Kevin has himself a big first quarter 11, and the Celtics lead by 4. But Sam Vincent, playing at point guard, trying to haunt his ex-teammates, comes up with a big quarter himself. He had 8 points. The Celtic lead cut to 3, 32-29. John Bagley, again with the quick hands. He gets the steal. Eddie Pinckney with that little reverse dunk of his, and the Celtics lead by 10, 41-31. Reggie Lewis, playing great defense this year, tips it to Brian Shaw. Larry Bird will get the layup on the other end, and the Celtics are cruising 65-43, but the Magic wouldn't go away. Nick Anderson to big Stanley Roberts, and the Celtic lead is cut to 63-52. And then Dennis Scott, a big-time three-pointer, the Celtic lead down to 9. Then Jeff Turner from the other side, and suddenly it's a 6-point game. Robert Parrish, little defense underneath here on Greg Kite, but Scott Skiles gets the ball, hits the jump shot, and the game is tied at 86. Brian Shaw will find Robert Parrish coming up as the Celtics start to go again. Nice spin move by the Chief. That puts the Celtics up 93-90 with 3:56 left in the game. Skiles, though, wouldn't be denied. He hits a 3 to tie it at 93. But Reggie Lewis, who had 23, big down the stretch, the Celtics by 7. Then it was the Milwaukee Bucks coming to the Boston Garden, and Jay Humphries with the steal early. Got it to Alvin Robertson to old Fred Roberts, and the Bucks had an early lead. Brian Shaw would lose the handle on this, but Larry Bird, never say die attitude, comes up with a little scoop to McHale, and the Bucks lead is cut to 21-20. Larry Bird had himself a solid night shooting from the outside, hits a 3. That's 3 of his 15. The Celtics go up by 2. Then Brian Shaw with the block on Jeff Grayer and gets the layup at the other end, and it's Boston by 2, 25-23 after 1. Ricky Green, the quick hands as he stays with it. Gets it to Kevin Gamble, who had 15 on the night, and the Celtics led by 9, 41-32 in the second. But the Bucks are a good team. Brakowski on the break for the stuff. The Celtic lead cut to 9. Reggie Lewis, though, continues to play that great defense we talked about, the steal and the basket. The Celtics have it back up by 12 in the third. Then Brian Shaw off the pick and roll, and the lead balloons to 14. But Fred Roberts again down the middle for the stuff and a foul. Celtic lead cut to 11. But Kevin Gamble going down hard, got the bucket and the foul shot to put the Celtics up by 14. And then Rick Fox, the finishing touches.
We're a team that can contend with anybody, and right now we've got some players back from injuries, and we've got a certain chemistry that I think is working really well. We're really deep, but we work well together no matter what the combination is.
It seems like everybody's in a flow, and everybody knows they're going to get to play a certain amount of minutes, and I think consciously we're taking the game a little more serious in a way that everybody knows what they have to do for us to win.
We just couldn't seem to get to them. Every time we made a run, they'd get in there, make some stops, make some big baskets, get some big rebounds, and just couldn't ever break seemed like a 10-point lead.
The guys have been able to step in, in situations like that and get the job done. And, from every position from the point guard to the center, we've had guys step up when they've had to. And, that's important. That's, we have all the components there to be a good team. Now we just have to reach a level of consistency and maintain that. And if we can do that and stay healthy and have guys do as well as they've been doing when they've been called upon to step in, then, we have the makings of being a good team.
Well, that win against the Milwaukee Bucks gave the Celtics a 2-5 record on the second day of back-to-back games. The end of the week would bring another set of back-to-backers. Could the Celtics increase that record to 3-5? We'll find out when Emily Celtics Weekly continues.
perfect steal. And there's another perfect steal.
Watch Ricky Green now trying to get ahead of Bird. Can't get the basketball, though. He had Larry beat, but he forgot it. Knocked away by Carr.
He did the super defense that time with the uphand move instead of the over the slap down move.
Everybody looking a little younger in that footage, aren't they? Last weekend was the 5th Friday-Saturday combination the Celtics have had to play this season, and they had yet to win on the Saturday end of this deal. On Friday night, the Utah Jazz were in town, and at this point, both teams were on top of their respective divisions. The Jazz, however, were 0-20 in the Boston Garden, and they were determined to try and register that first win. John Stockton showed the Garden crowd early he's the best point guard in basketball. Nice little dish there to Blue Edwards, and the Jazz have a 25-24 lead in the second quarter. Brian Shaw finds Kevin McHale underneath. The Jazz lead cut to 1, 27-26, but then it's Karl Malone on the fast break. He would have 39 on the night. Nice passing here by the Celtics. Ed Pinckney gets the stuff. Boston goes up by 6. Then Bird to McHale on the pick and roll, and the Celtics extend their lead. But the Jazz wouldn't go away. Karl Malone on the nice feed from Ty Corbin cuts it to a 5-point game. Robert Parrish would eventually get a hoop here from Brian Shaw. The Celtic lead was 7, 73-66 with a couple of minutes left in the third. Then again, nice passing by the Celtics. Eddie Pinckney finding Kevin McHale, and Boston had themselves a 9-point lead. But the Jazz would hang tough. Jeff Malone with that jump shot of his from the outside. And then John Stockton with a little drive and the dish to David Benoit, and the Celtics are up by only 6. But here comes the killer, Larry Bird with the three-pointer from the outside. That one really put the Jazz away. The Celtics with some icing on the cake, Bird in the back door, and then Reggie Lewis eventually hitting a jump shot down there on the baseline. Boston wins it by 11.
Our rebounding was key, and I thought that Eddie Pinckney was a guy who was giving us that big surge. And, you got to continue to go after it. And there was one sequence where he went after 2 or 3 times and kept it alive, and then that big defensive possession where he tied up Karl Malone.
I mean, we have scorers, we have defensive guys, we have guys that distribute the ball. My role is to rebound, and if I'm going to get time, I have to try and do that to the best of my ability. And some nights I have to really go after it, so I get to minutes.
They got a good mixture of veterans and young guys, and they utilize everybody's strength. They know what every guy going to do, so that's what they go to down the stretch, and that's the making of a great team.
We got in a position where we're playing catch-up and running out of time, and they already spread you out normally, but they spread you out even more when you're trying to get back in the game, and they were able to get good shots, and when they missed them, rebound off it. So sometimes you play hit and miss at the end there when you're behind, and that's not an enviable position here.
The Celtics tried to make it back-to-back wins down in Miami on Saturday night, but Steve Smith hit that three-pointer to cap a 15-4 run and a 22-21 Heat lead. Larry Bird's jump shot at the end of the first quarter did put the Celtics up by 31-29, but Boston a little careless on this night. Rick Fox has it knocked away. Kevin Edwards gets the dunk and ties the game at 37 in the second. Cycli would have a big night. Nice little spin move on Kevin McHale, and the Heat go up 52-43 off a 9-0 run. The Celtics would claw their way back into it, though. Great pass here by Ed Pinckney off the rebound. Brian Shaw the layup, and Boston goes back up 55-54. Reggie Lewis inside to McHale for the little backward job, and the Celtics have an 8-point lead in the third. Ronnie Cycli on the bench with a fractured finger. It's looking pretty good, but no. Bimbo Coles, the steal and the layup. Coles scored 8 straight points to get Miami back in the game. And then Cycli, with the splint on his finger, shows a power move. He gets the bucket and the foul, and the Heat are up by 8, 92-84. Larry Bird's long jump shot tied the game at 95, but Bird had just 4 points in the second half. Kevin Edwards inside to Cycli for the layup, 101-97 Miami. Then Kevin Edwards hits a long jump shot, and Kevin Lockery is a happy guy. Well, that loss in Miami dropped the Celtics out of first place in the Atlantic Division. It also extended their back-to-back Friday-Saturday losing streak to 5. The Celtics will now embark on a 4-game road trip that starts Christmas night in Chicago. In the spirit of the holidays, recently the Celtics gathered in downtown Boston for their 3rd annual charity auction. And we'll have all that and a lot more when Amalie Celtic Weekly continues.
But let's start at $200 for an autographed basketball, autographed by the entire Celtic team. $200. Do we have a bid?
Welcome back to Emily Celtics Weekly, everyone. For the past 3 years, the Boston Celtics and WEEI Radio have teamed up to raise money for the homeless through their annual charity auction. Now, many of the players were on hand to help this worthy cause, and a good time was had by all.
It's the holiday season, and that's when we particularly like to focus on events like this. We all feel that we're fortunate, and when we can give something back or contribute in some type of way to raise money for people that aren't as fortunate, we try to do that at every opportunity that we have a chance to.
Definitely a season to give, and this is a worthwhile cause for the homeless. I think everyone should do their part to try to help the homeless because they're definitely in a tough situation right now.
In addition to their attendance, the Celtics donated a variety of autographed items to be auctioned off, including shoes, uniforms, and basketballs. The beneficiary was the WEEI 590 Fund for the Homeless, a charity that has been helping homeless people for over 2 decades.
It's 24 years old, started out in a very minor fashion, but then it's grown now to where we realize about $600,000 a year, and all of it goes to help either homeless shelters, so that people who are maybe abused women or runaway children or families who are immigrants can get help not only in a place to stay, but also they can get help as far as counseling is concerned and their future is concerned.
It's a win-win situation for everybody because here people can get themselves items that are great Christmas gifts that are one of a kind, they're tax deductible, and at the same time they can help the homeless. And I think everybody wins in this situation. It's the perfect thing. And if you're a Celtic fan, how can you beat it?
Last year, we had a game shirt that Larry had hit the winning three-pointer in the week previous. And we had one person who was bidding by phone, one person who was at the club who was bidding. We hooked the person who was on the phone up to the speakers, and they bid against each other, and we ended up getting $3,000 for the shirt. So whatever technological problems we ran into, it was well worthwhile.
We're trying to get as much money out of these people as we can because all this money is going to go to a great cause, and obviously there's a lot of good things here to auction off, too. I mean, these things are very valuable. You look at Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, all three of these players are going to be in the Hall of Fame, and a lot of this stuff is going to be worth a lot of money someday too. So it's going to be fun. People get their money's worth, and yet we're going to make some money for a very good cause, the homeless people.
Jerry Seasting will not have any problem at all. In Indiana, they talk very fast, and that's all you have to do as an auctioneer. Just talk real fast. I told him, just don't sound like Larry up there.
We're going to allow you to bid on a Celtics autographed basketball. And we're not even going to open this up to the phone bidders right now. We're going to get to the jackets and the shirts in just a second. But let's start at $200 for an autographed basketball, autographed by the entire Celtic team.
Even in difficult economic times, this year's auction was once again a success. Larry Bird's signed jersey was the top single item, fetching a price of $1,800.
Going twice for Bird's autographed game jersey. $1,800 right there for
It's a very worthwhile cause, and EEI's formed the 590 Fund, and the Celtics are very happy to partake in it, and we'll do anything we can for various charities, and it's always great to see the guys come out and then the fans to turn out as well, and also raise the money so we can give back to these charities.
I'm very pleased to be a part of an organization that takes enough interest in a problem like this, homeless, and I've seen it around the city just by driving, and have been very concerned just from human nature of being more fortunate than those other people, and to give time and to give money or whatever it takes is little compared to what the actual size of the problem.
I think the Celtics probably have the most affluent and most caring because of all those championships. And it's incredible to me how the names, the jerseys, the socks, the sneakers of a Larry Bird or a Kevin McHale or a Chief or even a D. Brown draw so much money and so much interest.
They're luxuries to some people, and they would pay enough money to give to the homeless, and that's fine with me because I'll give as many shoes or as many shirts as possible.
And I think the most competition would probably be with Larry, Kevin, and Robert, and probably D. D's becoming a superstar real fast, but I think Larry's leading right now from listening to the radio, so I know mine won't go for that much, but hopefully I'll get a little something for it.
Going once. Going twice. Sold. $300. Kevin Gamble jacket.
It's fantastic. fantastic for us because this location for playoffs has only been open for 6 weeks. So this really kind of puts us on the map. And it's nice for us to have all the players down. The fans really appreciate it. You know, they've been looking at them on the screen for so long, and they come down to watch the games. So it's nice for us to be able to present them in public and actually have them here so people can have their photographs taken with them and everything.
I've come here tonight to spend money to have my picture taken with the Celtics. I mean, I have my own camera. I can do that at any time. But I'd rather, you know, give to something that I know will help someone else using photography.
I picked up D. Brown game-used away jersey that's been autographed by D. And this is for my son. D's his favorite player. Last year at the auction, I was successful in getting the Reggie Lewis. And these are the two players that he really loves. And I got something for me this time, and that was Parrish's warm-up jacket from home warm-up jacket that's also been autographed. So he's a bona fide superstar, and he's also a real nice person. So I feel very pleased that I've been able to be this successful tonight.
It's a nice feeling to know that there are some people who really do care, who think they're lucky stars, they're earning millions of dollars, playing sports and living the good life, and want to give something back to the community.
This is just one of many ways the Celtics work to help the community of Boston. Coming up next on Emily's Celtics Weekly, we'll show you another. We'll go back to high school with Robert Parrish and Rick Fox.
Student representatives with the mayor and myself and the Celtics players will symbolically signing a contract here on the stage. And each of you will get your own contract and your own pen with which to sign it.
Professional athletes are often asked to lend their names to programs and causes. Recently, NBA players have been emphasizing the importance of education and staying in school. Our reporter Willie May caught up with Robert Parrish and Rick Fox at Dorchester High School, recruiting future Celtics.
The Boston Celtics and the television station that it owns, WFXT Fox 25, have embarked on a new public service program to help communicate to teenagers of New England. In a community-oriented program designed to exemplify the values of the Boston Celtics, WFXT has created the Future Celtics Club to encourage youths to set goals for themselves in life and work towards reaching them.
Why we're here today is to kick off a program that I think is very important from the standpoint of you people and us. It's called the Strive for Excellence. To do your best. And that's what the program is aimed at, to strive for excellence.
A group of community leaders recently gathered at Dorchester High School in Boston to inaugurate the Future Celtics Club. Educational, political, business, and athletic representatives talked to the students about taking pride in their work and striving to become the best that they could be.
You know, when you strive for excellence, you have to have the support of a lot of people in order to achieve that laudable goal. We have had today, or we're having before us, the demonstration of persons who are willing to help us to become a part of that excellence. And so it would be remiss of me if I did not say to the Boston Celtics that we thank you so much for your outreach effort to us.
The Strive for Excellence program is designed to recognize Dorchester High School student achievements and to stress the importance of setting and striving to reach their personal goals.
One of the reasons when we put this program together, we chose DHS, was really because I graduated from here and I just wanted to get something back into this community. I know what a great tradition the school has, and I just think that everybody needs to be recognized, and I think it's your opportunity to be recognized, and I hope you all take advantage of that. It really is a good opportunity for both you and us, and that's what makes the whole thing work.
In this program, the Celtics, Fox 25, and local sponsors have adopted Dorchester High School and will coordinate a number of events and activities to encourage students to strive for excellence.
You must take a very close attention to the program because we're not just here for today. I want you to realize this. This is a commitment by us. We're going to stick to it. We're going to have special courses set up in both broadcasting, which would cover radio and TV, and marketing, which the Celtics will help you all. We'll be in giving different seminars, and you really should take advantage of it because it's a great opportunity to see what other jobs are out there. And there are a lot of terrific jobs available to you people when you graduate, and you should just know about them. We're going to make sure that you know all about them, because we have some great people who have worked hard to achieve their status in life today, and they're going to be willing to share those moments with you. So when you know these seminars are coming up and classes are going to be held, you should really take advantage of them.
On hand to inspire the students were Robert Parrish and Rick Fox, two athletes who have achieved success through hard work and dedication. However, both men were quite fortunate to have caring parents who guided them down the right path.
I know growing up, my parents was a big inspiration in my career, in my life, and they strived and definitely put a big emphasis on staying in school, and whatever you do, they always taught me to do a very good job, and to do the best that you can be, no matter what it was, no matter how trivial the job was, no matter what you're doing, to do the best you can do. So I always strive for excellence and the hard work and dedication, and that will pay off for you. So that's my words of wisdom to all of you today. No matter what the job is, whether you're in school or part-time job or something that your parents get you to do around the house, do it the best you can do. Be dedicated and do it very well.
Just as Chief was saying, I was real fortunate. I had parents that, I guess you would say, made me go to school. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about here briefly is the fact that you guys are coming of age where you're going to have to learn to make choices, okay? At your age, I had to make a lot of choices, and each day we make choices. It's just what choices are you going to make, okay?
Both the Strive for Excellence program and the Future Celtics Club want to show youngsters that success can be achieved in many fields of life. The important thing to remember is hard work is the only way to get there.
You're seeing some very remarkable athletes here today. They're great basketball players in their own rights for the Boston Celtics. But they didn't become great basketball players just overnight. They became great basketball players because they worked very, very hard for what they were able to achieve. They went to school, they studied hard, they worked hard on the court, and they were great team players as well. Neither one of these MLK athletes made it on their own. They worked together as a team, and they worked hard. The Celtics aren't a great basketball team because they have one or two players. They're a great basketball team because they're a great team. They work together in unity. That's what Dorchester High School is all about, and that's why this program, encouraging you to stay in school, to be something, to make something of yourself, Dorchester High School and the Boston Celtics, that's a real partnership that is going on to greater and better things.
Rick Fox and Robert Parrish distributed Strive for Excellence contracts to all the students. Overall, the entire effort of the Future Celtics Club, as well as the Strive for Excellence program, was well received by everyone involved. Positive steps have already begun to take place, and enthusiasm has grown immensely.
Well, the Celtics will be away from the Boston community for a while as they hit the road now, and it all begins Christmas night in Chicago, when the Celtics will take on the Chicago Bulls. And that one again, Christmas night at 8 o'clock. And then it's off to see Casey Jones and his Seattle Supersonic Club December 27th at 10 p.m. And then they visit Denver to see Dikembe Mutombo again, and that one comes up December 28th at 9 p.m. And that's going to do it this week for Amalie Celtics Weekly. For all of us here, have a very Merry Christmas, everyone, and good night.